morning, welcome back. You're still watching Far Breakfast right here on Citizen TV, and it's that time when you take a look at the headlines this morning. We have Senator Martha Wangari on my immediate left. Karibu sana, Senator.
Thank you, Fred.
Good to see you this year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And to all our viewers, I'm happy to be back. This is my first show this
Good
year.
to have you back on this panel. We also have Dan Manzo, MP for Makueni. Karibu sana, Mheshimiwa. And Rungo Kangata, MP for Kiharu. Good morning. Very interesting headlines this morning, of course. I'm sure there's one that many people within the Jubilee side of the political divide are not keen to even touch, but we'll see how to go around it. We'll see. It is just among the headlines. It is just among the headlines. There's so many headlines this morning. There's a problem. Kenya-Somalia maritime row. We lost the first bid to have that case thrown out from the ICJ, from the International Court of Justice, ICJ. So it will proceed to be adjudicated upon by that court. Tough rules for teachers, that's on the front page of the Daily Nation. Teachers will require written permission to be absent from school and can only attend conferences during weekends. Very interesting. Also, how your salary will be affected, and this affects the civil service because there's a new salary structure by the SRC that takes effect from 1st of July. How it will be affected. Apparently, the highest paid currently, if at all you're earning the highest in government, on July 1st, you'll earn 270,000 more.
Wow.
Wow. But if I told you the lowest, I think the difference will only be like 2,000 more. Life.
Interesting.
African states resolve to pull out of the ICC. That's on the back page of the Daily Nation. Moi Kibaki IDs used in vote register rackets. Yes. We had the opposition chief Raila Odinga saying these things were happening and no one took him seriously. A day later, the proof comes out. NASA gears up for first rally in Bomet County. Yes, coming this weekend. Dan Manzo will be telling us what your plan is. But even as you go there, your host Isaac Ruto says he'll not be joining NASA. He'll host you, but he's not joining you. Then, of course, this rather big headline. Deputy President William Ruto sued for child support. Now, that's one headline I'm sure some of my panelists are not so keen to talk about, but we'll see how to go around it.
Actually, it's very interesting.
Let's actually start with that.
Because, you know, Fred, I think what we need to take into consideration as we look at that case, one is the interest of the child. Because I know yesterday night I watched one media house that actually did not even blur the face of that child. It does not matter what the circumstances were of how that child was conceived. We have to take the interest of the child as the first priority. And I think Article 53 and generally the Constitution gives every right to a child, whether born in a marriage or outside, does not matter. Responsibility has to be to both parents. And I think the Deputy President actually went on Twitter to actually clarify. But I think most importantly, this case is in court. It should be left to be deliberated in court. But it also brings out a very interesting scenario, and I was telling you just before the show started that this is one issue. If it was directed to a woman in politics, it would definitely bring her down. It would finish her career. Yeah, but for men, it will be just 2 days and it will be over. But we must look at the interest of the child. Yes, and if at all it was in any other jurisdiction, probably in the United States, that's a story that would have been on the front page of any daily the following day. Now, in one of his responses on Twitter, the Deputy President hinted at the possibility that politicians could be using this, could actually be the ones behind this whole issue. Do you think that's possible? It is an election year. Of course, this is when such things come out. And actually, just before Honorable Manzo speaks, in fact, if you look at the social media conversations, it is actually said, for the first time, even all the men who don't like the Deputy President will actually keep quiet on this one. They will not talk. So let's hear.
Well, politics could play, but I believe if the Deputy President had been in good terms with this lady and has been, you know, doing the upkeep, then I don't think she would have gone to lawyers or things like that. If he had been in good terms with her and they're in communication and he fulfills his duties. Part of it is instigated by the recent publication showing the Honorable Ruto's wealth. Most probably this lady looked at it and said, so why am I getting 100,000 a month? This man is a trillionaire. So, you know, so there's so much, but the most important thing as a lawyer, I would say that the law we have is the interest of the child.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, you know, every child has to be taken care of, whether born in marriage or out of marriage. And I believe and I know the Deputy President knows that, and I'm sure he's going to take care of his child.
Yes.
So this is a story which you learned soon. Exposing the child face is really unfair, because, you know, nowadays not everybody wishes people well. You know, so and you remember children have been kidnapped for ransoms and things like that. So the safety of the child is of paramount.
Oh, yes.
You know, is paramount, and this child, I believe, will be taken care of. And it's unnecessary. People should just discuss their matters and sort them within family.
Yes. And Boniron Kangata, you're also a lawyer, of course, away from the child. Because that's a victim of circumstances. The child has not determined where he or she comes from. But looking at it politically, do you think this could have any ramifications for the Deputy President, given our culture? This is Africa.
No, not at all. In fact, I think the very fact we are discussing it is very unfair to the Deputy President. In fact, we should close this debate.
No. It is right now. What you do here,
it's very unfair.
Not getting any news.
This is private business of Deputy President. I am 100% sure the people behind this scheme is a scheme to bring my Deputy President down.
I think
No, it's a private matter. It should be dealt privately by him.
It stopped being a private matter when it made its way to court.
And not just
look here.
If it was not in court, no one would have bothered with it.
I can tell you 100% sure this child has been well taken care of, but the child, together with the mother, they are being used by some politician. How come the lawyer for that child is Imanyara?
You seem to have more information on this story.
No, it goes without saying. It cannot be a coincidence that the lawyer representing this child, the same lawyer who has, I don't know, another suit with so many weird allegations against the Deputy President. This is just a scheme to tarnish the very, very good name of a very good Christian leaning Deputy President, and therefore I stop discussing. It's unfair for us.
Politically, do you think it will have any ramifications for the Deputy President?
Nothing.
It is an election year.
Nothing.
But do you think it could affect his chances in any way?
It could. You know, people perceive things in a different matter, and Kenya is a God-fearing nation. The churches have expectations. So someone who used to view the Deputy President in one way may now, though you know the Bible says don't judge, so that we may also not be judged. So some people may change their way of thinking, or the way they perceive him. That may change. But in a normal African social society, I'm sure even in his tribe's culture, I mean, a child is taken care of. But in fact, it is this lady who has lost now. Because now she should have kept the trust of the Deputy President, but now she has betrayed him. And even if he's going to take care of the child, he's not going to be happy with her.
Yes.
But I believe he can understand and forgive and forget and move on with life.
Yes. You mentioned that if at all it was a female politician, this would definitely injure her prospects politically.
The way our politics is that for women, such issues are really given a lot of weight, of course, versus the men. But I think moving forward, and your question on how it affects the Deputy President, I think politically it won't. But I think going forward, we must resist from using children in political circus. In fact, we must strive very carefully that we protect children. It does not matter, because I've seen even ourselves, when our families are dragged into political circles and people bring the issues of your children, it hurts that child. And remember, the internet does not forget. This is something that this 11-year-old, in 8 years, she will be a major. She will actually be voting. She will be reading these stories, and all the comments and all the vitriol that has been put on social media. It will be injurious to her as a person, and it will affect and dent her life like forever. It will change it.
Yes. And now, so that we do away with this story, the Deputy President came out on Twitter using his verified Twitter account and actually made a number of statements just to clarify the situation. Do you think he went a bit too far, talking about details and more details? Should he have just ignored the whole thing and just moved on, probably use his lawyers to handle the matter?
You see, this is a scheme by the people who made Jubilee to paint negatively our key leaders. And therefore, at times, you have no other option than to respond to those allegations. It is said a lie told repeatedly assumes the character of truth or of truth. So to that extent, I support the Deputy President for replying to those unfair, untrue allegations, because what I know, that child is well taken care of. I do have personal knowledge, and I can tell you.
Are you the lawyer for the deputy?
No. The point is, this is a scheme which is being used to tarnish the very good name of our Deputy President, but it will never have any what we call traction. It will not gain traction.
The tweets by the Deputy President, do you think he went a bit too far? Probably
First,
just
before I come to the
once.
tweets, I want to clear Honorable Gitobi Manyara as a lawyer. And as a lawyer, I know our practices. You see, any client is free to hire any lawyer.
Yes.
And you hire the lawyer you believe will handle your matter competently. So there's nothing wrong with this lady hiring the Honorable Gitobi Manyara. And once I'm hired as a lawyer, or if someone approaches me, I should not decline on political grounds. I should go forth and represent that person so that they can get to that level. But if I were the top first, I would have approached the Deputy President and asked him, we have this matter, do you want to sort it out?
Yes.
Then if it's difficult, then now we can go to the next level, so that you don't embarrass each other unnecessarily.
Yes.
And then you know, the tweet, I mean he did not deny. You know, a lot of men would have denied, and then you, because you are powerful, you go or
ignore.
You deny or ignore, or even no, ignore would have been dangerous politically, and say let's go for DNA, and then corrupt the DNA and say, okay, now the DNA has said it's not my child. So the story ends there, and the lady suffers and the child suffers. So you can see he intends to care, to take care of his child. That's why he did not deny, and it is okay.
Yes. Now, Twitter is really becoming a powerful tool. Donald Trump uses it daily, even on very big matters of the state. Now you're seeing the Deputy President using Twitter to address a very personal, private matter.
In fact, it was very impressive that he didn't actually go to the mainstream media. He actually took to social media and responded to these weighty issues, and I think that is something that we can't ignore. And moving forward is that he is quite a straightforward person. Even if you had him here in this show, he would actually respond. That is to answer Honorable Kangata, that he actually does not mind responding, because if he minded, he would not have gone to Twitter to respond to those issues. So I think he's quite a straightforward person. We need not sweep these issues under the carpet. We just need to address them, because the moment you're a public figure, also these issues will keep coming out. And I think the Deputy President has set the pace that if you make allegations, I have the right to reply, and he did exactly that. And it has actually brought out the role of social media versus the mainstream media. Even if he comes now for this show, it will be secondary. He has already used social media to respond.
Yes. Of course, it should be remembered that it is an election year, and some of these things, it's very interesting to see the issues that do come up on an election year. This is not the first time, even in other places. Even if you watched the US election and the campaigns, this is when all the matters that have been hidden from the public eye do have a way of coming out. Let's now move on from that discussion and go to the Daily Nation. Moi and Kibaki IDs used in vote register racket. Now, Daniel Arap Moi and Moi Kibaki have unique ID card numbers issued to them, and that's